This is StoryRobot. Welcome to r/entitled parents. Our story of today is, Crazy Roommate's Mom Hates Me. Okay, this happened when I was about 20 years old and I had already been living on my own for about 2 years at this point. I was talking to a good friend of mine, let's call her E, telling her about how I was looking into finding a new apartment that was a better distance from college and work, maybe something a little cheaper too. She kinda perked up and eventually brought up the idea that we get a place together. We were both great friends, we liked the same food, music, movies, we loved art and writing too, so I thought it would be a great idea and it would cut the cost of the bill. Not long after we found a place that was perfect for roommates. The only drawback was there was no fireplace. My old place had one, but that certainly wasn't a deal breaker. So we put down the payment and began to move in the following day as it was move-in ready. I should have known her mother was going to be a problem before we had even finished moving in though. But I just didn't realize just how much of a problem until later. I had brought along my mom, dad, sister and my sister's husband to help me move. I brought a washer and dryer, queen bed, couch, and kitchen table to the mix. After all, I had been on my own for a while, so I pretty much had the whole shebang, and all she had was her bedroom stuff as this was her first time living away from home. Anyway, I had promised to buy pizza for everyone and already had some soda cooling in the fridge, so after moving day I could feed my helpful family. E's mom was there too, but she only helped bring in E's stuff, and once my couch was moved in she just sat on it and watched as we did everything else. When E was helping us out, her mom griped that, "My daughter is not your slave," she whined. E had offered to help, but we didn't ask or make her do anything. Besides, this was her place too, I can promise she'll eat at our table sometime. Eventually everything was inside and I decided to order the pizza, and her mom spoke again. "I want veggie supreme on my pizza." I frowned at this. I'm okay with veggie pizza, but I know what the rest of my family likes and I was only ordering 4 pizzas.
No one here really liked all veggie pizza. I guess I could do one that is half veggie.
I offered. "What, you mean I do all this work and I don't get my own pizza?" She was literally shrieking. "Of course not, we are all sharing these." Thankfully E intervened and offered to get her mom her own pizza, although I could hear her grumbling the whole time that her precious daughter is so generous and I'm so selfish. By the way, her and E shared that pizza. I was exhausted by the time everyone had left and it was pretty late when I had finally set up at least half my bedroom, so I crashed and went to sleep. I didn't have work for the next 2 days and it was a weekend, so no college either, so I was looking into a nice long sleep and using the days to set things up and make our apartment a home. Unfortunately, the next day I was rudely awakened by a loud banging on our front door. It was 5:30 a.m. I was about to get up, but I heard E answering it, and unsurprisingly it was E's mom. I knew E and her mother were close and I think she secretly hated me for stealing her daughter when moving together was not my idea, but whatever. I grumbled but went back to sleep, waking up again a few hours later. I made myself something to eat and not a moment later E and her mom walked in with bags of groceries. Apparently they had went shopping in the earlier hours. As she sat the bags down, she looked at me with that familiar tinge of disgust which I will become accustomed to. "Listen, we just spent over $100 at the store today getting things that you can both use. I expect at least half of what I bought to be reimbursed right now," she demanded. She made sure E was out of earshot before saying this to me.
Excuse me? You can't be serious. I'm not giving you any money. You went out shopping with E and bought a bunch of stuff that I had no say in whatsoever. If I went along I would have gotten these things myself, but it was choice to buy things without at least consulting me, and now you want my money. No way.
She was used to her daughter pretty much doing whatever she asked, and I'm fairly certain she was shocked that I talked back to her. Consider she just opened and closed her mouth like a gasping fish. These encounters happened often, her mom coming over at ungodly hours and coming over a lot too, at least 4 to 5 times a week. If she knew I was home, she always tried to watch TV loudly to wake me, but E shut her down completely on doing that. E would stand up to her sometimes. She would often take E shopping and demanding money from me until I told E about it, and that finally stopped too. She always praised her daughter and thought of me as a selfish beep, but I couldn't care less about what she thought. I still remember one day I was in my bathroom, we had separate personal bathrooms, taking a shower before work, and when I walked out there was E's mother sitting on my bed, actually sitting on my work clothes I had laid out, her arms folded across her chest. "We need to talk," she said snootily, but I went ballistic.
You crazy beep, get the F out of my room. I never invited you to ever come in here. I'm in a freaking towel for F's sake. You wanna talk?
She stood up about to speak, but I cut her off.
"Get out."
I screamed at her. She seemed pissed but left my room, and I had to re-iron my clothes since she apparently had no decency or sense of other privacy. When I saw her again I told her flat out if she ever went into my room again when I wasn't there and didn't invite her, I'd slap her into next week. I was done being nice to this woman because she treated me with nothing but hatred, so why even try? Thankfully about 3 months later she mellowed a little, she stopped showing up so early and stopped stopping by so often, and when she did visit she would make a snide comment about not feeling welcomed. But honestly, as far as I was concerned, she wasn't welcomed. Her and E would leave as soon as she arrived. One weekend me and E held a small get-together, a few guys, a couple of girls, and of course me and E. We were having snacks and playing Guitar Hero, full on mic, drums, guitars. It was a blast and we were having a great time. All of a sudden a loud banging was on our front door and I mentally groaned. Only E's mother knocked like that. E sighed and opened the door. As soon as her mother saw the group she gave this fake gasp in horror. "Oh my lord, why are there boys over here? It's already 7 p.m, it's too late for them to be here," she said, extremely overreacting. Keep in mind I'm 20 at this point and E is 22.
"We are just having fun, Mom, besides it's not a big deal, we have guys over all the time. These guys are our friends,"
E said, seeming to be just as confused as I was. She acted like our apartment was her house and her rules were no boys allowed. "I expect this kind of behavior from her," her mom said, pointing at me accusingly. "I know she's nothing but a slut, and I know you are a good girl and would never let these boys over without talking to me about it first." I was pissed. Thankfully before I slapped this woman, E actually yelled at her mom, which probably had a more lasting effect than me assaulting her.
"Mom, how dare you say such a thing about my best friend? She had been extremely patient with you about how rude and terrible you are whenever she's around. You are horrible to her and yet she still has never asked you to get out of the house or to stop coming over. But to call her such a terrible thing, it's my turn. Get out."
"Oh, you can't be serious, I'm your mother." She was whining now like she was ready to cry.
"I'm serious, get out. Go home, and unless you call first, don't come over here. We won't be opening the door if you do. Also, next time you call I'm handing the phone directly to me, and if the first words out of your mouth are not a sincere apology, we won't be talking again."
"You can't make me apologize for the truth." Tears starting to fall.
"Get out already. I swear I will call the police."
E screamed at her and her mom stormed out sobbing as she did so. I was so proud of E. I hugged her and after was all calmed down, our friends included, we resumed out fun Guitar Hero games. It took almost 3 weeks before finally, after hundreds of calls not being an apology to me, she finally relented as said she was sorry for all the name calling and being so rude toward me. I'm sure she didn't mean it, but I accepted the apology anyway. She was better after and did call before coming over, but she was still rude whenever she thought she could get away with it. When it was time to renew our lease, I had to tell E I couldn't live with her anymore, honestly because she came with her mom and I was kinda through with living with my parents and much less living with hers. Thankfully she understood. I got my own place and she moved back home. We are still friends to this day and still close to one another, so thankfully this didn't ruin our relationship. Thank you for watching. Error. Problem detected. Not enough subscribers. Please subscribe, like and comment.